Welcome to Kubera. A lot of you have been asking me, how do you make an extra 10, 15, 20, even 30% on selling your Bitcoin? So on top of whatever profits you received from trading, now you're able to exchange the Bitcoins back into cash or altcoins or gift cards or whatever you're talking about here, and you're able to earn an extra percentage on top. So it's very nice, and it's relatively simple. It's mainly just to do with marketing and sales, which of course everyone, I know, even if you're not a marketer and you're not good at sales and all this stuff, you don't have to be cold calling. You just have to be a little bit good, like a little bit of a people person, and know how to just things kind of click into place, okay? So this is all online, and the internet is your best friend here. Now you are able to sell offline to friends and family, of course, and you know, kind of rip them off. Oh no, who would do that to their family members? Pfft. So mainly you're going to have to learn how to scour the forums, how to scour certain Bitcoin websites. You're going to have to get fully into the Bitcoin game. Like, you are able to sell a little bit and, you know, make some money here and there, but if you kind of want to turn it into a part-time gig or maybe even a full-time job where making a couple $1,000s each month just through buying Bitcoin, selling Bitcoin, getting Bitcoin from various sources, and just through those percentages, you want an extra couple $1,000s per month, like, you're going to have to work very hard to grow it to that point, but you easily are able to. And you don't need much experience, but you need to be able to, you just got to have that burning passion within your heart. Yay! You just got to be familiar with crypto, at least a little bit. So my favorite thing to do is honestly check out Paxful and local Bitcoins. First of all, you have to learn how your opponents are working. So read through their listings, see what their prices are, ask maybe a couple people on various forums. So go to Bitcoin forums such as Bitcoin Talk, which, by the way, you're able to earn a little bit of money on Bitcoin Talk after you've been there a certain while. And check out some other marketing forums and all this stuff, because people from all around the world are interested. They're hyped up for this stuff. They want Bitcoin. So your best customers are the people who are new to Bitcoin, new to cryptocurrency in general. You're able to give a little bit higher fees. But the thing you should do is, for new people, let's say you have like 25%. That's your new person rate. But after a while, you can drop it to 20%, or if it's a super trusted person, 15%. So you have like little deals. If it's a large deal where it's suddenly like $5,000 or $10,000, you're able to drop the rates a little bit, because it's all about long-term relationships instead of short-term relationships. Like, it's good to have a lot of people coming in, but it's a little bit better to have multiple customers that come back every single month or week or even every single day if you're that lucky, because then you're just going through a lot of Bitcoin, a lot more money. Of course, you can't really rely on a whale, because what happens when that whale disappears? So you study people on the forums, you study people on Paxful, on social media, and that's where you're going to be attacking. Now, the first thing you need is the Bitcoin, of course. There's various ways to get Bitcoin. You could buy it off of Coinbase, or even just buy it straight off of Pax for local Bitcoins, but then you have to worry about the margins. Maybe you just have a lot of Bitcoin lying around, or you're thinking of selling in the future and you don't really care. Now, this is probably the trickiest bit here. It's actually acquiring the Bitcoin. But once you have the Bitcoin, then you need to create a brand. Like this, if you want the higher margins there, if you want to make more money, you need to create a brand and market yourself on pretty much everywhere you can. So YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, check the Twitter hashtags if anyone's asking to buy Bitcoin. Check out Instagram, the latest posts on Bitcoin. Connect with other people, start your little brand. Maybe create a website even if you want to do this full time. Then make some listings, make an account or multiple accounts on Paxful or local Bitcoins, or why not both. And then it's like, once you have a bunch of this stuff going on at once, check every single day. First of all, you're going to have to build your brand. So maybe give, I wouldn't start off suddenly with like 25%. Maybe it's better to start off with like 5 or 10% and then get ratings. Once you have good ratings, then you can up the prices, increase them like crazy. So that's once you're already dominating. But usually, well, it depends where you're from. There's certain locations around the world. For example, in Poland, I don't sell offline, but maybe I should probably look into the legalities of that, because that's probably important too. Also, There's certain places out there where you do need a license, so definitely check that out. There's not many, but there are certain places. There's people, like even judges, who have been arrested for that stuff. So, and it's really silly. It's just do a quick, simple check, but for small amounts, if you're not planning to do this full time, you'll be fine, whatever. Anyways, so it's best to find markets where there's not a lot of competition. Where there's a lot of competition, you will have to lower your rates, but where there's no competition at all, you can do whatever rates you want. And the most important thing is traffic. Just bring in a lot of traffic, and boom, you're set to go. Now, me, I'm having a little bit of troubles with the acquiring of Bitcoin, and there's certain slow days, but there's certain good days where I get a lot of people asking for Bitcoin through my YouTube channels, and it's like, okay, cool, I'm able to help you out. Unfortunately, you will lose a little bit of the hype when the price of Bitcoin goes down, but if you're not holding a lot of Bitcoin, it's mainly like you have to go through a daily thing. I mean, you could hold for the long term if you have a lot of Bitcoin to go through, but you don't know how long a crash could go for, whether it's 1 week, whether it's 1 month, 2 months. But the big whales who are holding and they're selling a little bit here and there, they're diversifying their Bitcoin incomes, of course. But you're able to ride through pretty much any waves whatsoever. So it's like, okay, cool, an extra couple bucks here, maybe I lose a couple bucks there. You shouldn't really be too worried about the prices, although if it drops like $1,000, then obviously that's going to be a little bit different. But still, it's mainly the percentages that you're going for here, unless it's like 1 to 2% margins or 5% margins or whatever you're doing, and especially if it's a small amount at that point, then yeah, I guess you could look at the prices, but still you shouldn't be getting those low margins. And if you are, you need to find a better place for your Bitcoins, or maybe you're just not in a good location. Maybe it's just not for you. Also, you shouldn't be selling, let's say, under like $50 worth of Bitcoin, because after that the margins get really, really bad due to fees. You also have to fluctuate your prices because of the fees. The fees are a little with Bitcoin, they're a lot. Bitcoin's slow sometimes, so you have to let your customers know if it's outside of forums and outside of places like the newbies who are not familiar with that. You have to let them know, oh, it's a pending transaction. Oh, it's still got 0 out of 6 confirmations. You need 1 out of 6 confirmations for it to show up in your wallet, or maybe they're using a different wallet that needs 2 out of 6 confirmations. Usually, as soon as it gets like, at least they get a little alert that, oh, you have Bitcoin incoming, and it's all good. You have to alleviate their concerns. But for newbies, you got to watch out for that. The main thing really is just you got to avoid the fees, where if you're buying Bitcoin, you have to worry about sending fees and what fees you actually paid on top of that. If you're going international, there's going to be international fees. For example, if you're not in Europe, or even if you are in Europe but you're not using a European card or a bank, your bank for Bitstamp, for example, will charge an extra couple of bucks. And even though Bitstamp doesn't even have good prices anyways, on top of that, you're paying fees, and sure, you're able to make some money, but you know what? At that point, there's better gigs out there. So it's maybe not the easiest thing in the world. There's a lot of factors into play, but worst case scenario, seriously, a lot of you guys who are holding, let's say, a couple $1,000 worth of your Bitcoin, it's better to sell it. Like, you're gonna have to wait a little bit. It's not instant, but I'd rather wait, let's say, a day or two, even a couple days, to get that extra 10%. Let's say you've got $2,000, that's an extra $200 on top, because you most likely bought those Bitcoins overpriced, so it's better to sell them overpriced as well. Because if you sell them right back to Coinbase, goodbye to those $200, And it's all about your reputation. Like, seriously, if you're on Paxful, Local Bitcoins, or any of these other exchanges, you're starting to build a reputation. You want to have it as high as possible, of course. If there's any negative disputes, try and go through that. Also, there is a big thing with people who will try to take your Bitcoins, and through crime or through social engineering or whatever's going on. So you do have to be careful for that. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. So for some of these people, you might not want to use PayPal. You might want to just do wire transfers. But for that, it's not instant, so the prices do fluctuate. At that point, you might have to worry about it. Gift cards are easier, but gift cards you're able to charge higher rates because it is a little bit sketchy. So you have to find trustworthy individuals. So if you're on these exchanges, it's good to trade with people who already have high ratings, because then you're most likely fine. I'd stay away from straight up newbies, especially from hot territories. There's certain countries in Africa, there's certain countries in Asia where I just don't deal with that at all, because I know that those people don't want to pay me for my Bitcoins. I know they just want my Bitcoins and they think that I'm going to send them to that. And also, if you're really paranoid, it's better to get a identity verification. Blah, blah, blah. What is going on? ID verification. So you ask for their license, you ask for something else, maybe a selfie, and hey, just ask them to write something. But so yeah, there is actually a couple things you should be worried about. But usually, if you find somebody trustworthy off of social media, or somebody who you at least have a little bit of a conversation with, you're able to detect whether they're going to try and take your Bitcoins or not. And hopefully you don't have many of those scenarios and make some money. Anyways, the price of Bitcoin's going up. It kind of fell down a tiny bit, but it's still like, wow, this is, man, oh man, it's good to be in the crypto sphere. See you guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and tweet.